All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Thanks for joining, everybody. This is the What's New at Korbyt, the features you've been asking for webinar. Um, I am Travis Kemp. I'm the Chief Product Officer here at Korbyt. I'm joined by Max Guerrero, Senior Director of Product at Korbyt. We're super excited to show you three new features, two of which are released. One is coming in the coming weeks, and they are the Canva integration done natively, our Launchpad 2.0 content authoring experience, and then last but not least, ScreenDetective. All three of these really represent a series of investments, Korbyt's making and doubling down in as it pertains to both content creation and device management. This is the first of a series of these types of webinars we'll do over the coming quarters. At the end, what we'll do is we'll have 5 or 6 minutes for questions. Feel free to use the native chat within Zoom here to ask your questions, and we'll bring those up at the end and have a discussion. We'll also do two short polls later on in the webinar as well. So very excited to have you, and thanks for joining. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to turn it over to Max Guerrero, and he's going to start walking us through these three new features.
Hey everyone, super excited to be here today and walk you through these features. Excited to give you more of a glimpse of each of these and how they work. And we're going to jump in and start with Canva. So we've recently launched last month around the Infocom timing, our new Canva integration. Korbyt is now an app in the Canva marketplace to allow you to easily publish content direct from Canva to your endpoints in Korbyt. So I'll start over here and show you how this works. So you start with the design. Could be an MP4, a PNG. You can use all the great design assets and tools within Canva to create your content. This supports like the animation timelines, content transitions, multiple page type of artifacts as well. And all you do to get that into Korbyt is you go to your share drawer, you search for Korbyt, or you scroll down to your recently used apps, you select Korbyt, and pretty straightforward. That's as simple as it is to pull it up. The first time you access this, you will need to authenticate. So you'll log into Korbyt first, make sure you have that session running in the background. You go in and click authenticate at the bottom. That'll then tie your user in Korbyt to your user in Canva. The reason we do that is because when you come to this screen, you'll notice we pull in your media manager folders, your tags, your playlists that you as your user, you have access to within Korbyt. So what that means, if you have file permissions, folder permissions, playlist permissions, you're only going to see those folders and playlists that you have access to through Korbyt's permission system. So once you click share, you can see here I can set up the format. I can do PNG or MP4. Select how many pages I want to include in this export. I'm going to go ahead and select a folder here for branding content. I'm going to add Canva as a tag. And I'm even going to push this to a playlist here. Then lastly, but not least, give it a name. See, 723 for today's date. Just so you're entering a unique piece of content in the media library. So we have that name there. And all you do is hit publish. And you'll see here, over a quick, short time, content's been published. Video takes a little bit longer, more closely to the duration of the content to get imported. And from here, you can actually say, check it out. And this will launch you right into Korbyt, into the folder it was added into. And you can see here at the top, there's that content directly within Korbyt with the tag, with the name, super seamless. Just going back here really quick, we built this tool because a lot of large clients of ours, and we see out there in the ecosystem, right, are using Canva. So it's kind of an obvious choice to use the power of Canva plus Korbyt to get content to screens for easy content communication.
Thanks, Max. That's incredible. When you look at what this app provides natively, we've just saved your team well over a dozen clicks, just massively fast forwarding the time between content creation to launch. So super excited about this. I think the other main thing I wanted to just kind of highlight here is, in addition to the time save and the efficiency boost, you get access to all of Canva's native tools, all their native design tools, their templates, very, very easy to use. So really excited about this partnership with Canva and really the democratization of content creation. Let's move on to the next one, Max. I believe it's Launchpad.
All righty, let's move on to it. So Launchpad 2.0, A little sneak peek there. Let me back up. Launchpad 2.0 is essentially a modernization of our Launchpad 1.0 tool. So it's a quick refresher. Launchpad 1.0 is a really simple templated based approach to getting content within our CMS. These templates can be used within Korbyt, can be used as a form outside of Korbyt. So many users inside or outside of Korbyt can actually submit content. This is very simple, Launchpad 1.0, right? You can click elements here, change text live. You really don't get much design parameters or control into how it looks and feels, and that's on purpose, right? So the idea with Launchpad is your content admins control, brand guidelines, theming, consistency, right, across all your templates, so that end users can do a simple, event message, happy birthday message, office message, you name it. So with Launchpad 2.0, we're bringing a lot of great changes to help modernize this experience. I'm first going to start the landing page. So what you see here is a bit better categorization, a bit more modern scroll type preview of these templates. And as a reminder, you see at the top here, we do have Create AI released, which is an AI generated template builder. And so one of the big differences, I'll go and click into one of these, is at a glance, you get all the fields that are available to edit right at first look. So on the right-hand side, you see all the content editing capabilities. You no longer have to click and dig into the content here within the center of the creative asset. You can just simply come in here. You can do the same live text, live preview editing. You get some additional controls such as bold, italic, and even variety on headline sizes. So if you have more text, maybe you want a larger size, or sorry, inverse. If you have more text, maybe you want a smaller size, less text, bigger size to fit the parameters there. And then probably the biggest feature we're adding is this concept of theming. So with Launchpad 1.0, in order to have one template have a variety of themes, you had to create multiple templates, right? You could, some customers creating 8 to 10 different templates. With this approach, that is reduced immediately by this concept of themes. So I can come in here and say, I want to apply my light theme here. I want to apply this executive dark theme, right? So you can fully control all the different theming parameters as a content admin that fit within your brand guidelines for those content authors. I'll show you how that looks here, but real quick, just to finish up, you still get the same publish capabilities. You can assign directly to playlists, set validity dates, and send off to your players. And now for how users manage these themes, we have 2 new sections called global parameters and visual themes. So parameters, think of them as the building blocks in which you can apply themes to. So for instance, headline typography, you can set that parameter. You can say this is text. I want to enable size variants. And then within the theme control, I can come in here and actually set what is for this executive dark theme. What is my font family? What is that small, medium, large text size? Colors, highlight colors. Same with images, videos, etc. And you get a really nice kind of brand guideline per theme here when they're set. This is in active development and close to launch. We are planning launch on this October 31st. This will come with the platform just like Canva. And again, it's meant to modernize the workflow, make things easier to use, and provide more creative variety.
Thanks, Max. And I've been fortunate enough to work with Max on showing this to a number of clients, and the feedback has been just remarkable. And really, I want to demonstrate that this is Korbyt listening to you, right? Our clients, our partners, delivering the capabilities and tools that matter most. I should note that what Max is showing here in terms of Launchpad 2.0, this is and will be completely free. We look at this as table stakes within our CMS. I also wanted to note that the Canva integration is completely free as well. We'll include some instruction on how to leverage these at the end, but feel free to reach out to your account manager or your Korbyt CSM, and we'll get these enabled for you. And as Max indicated, Launchpad is coming out, at the end of October. Max, before we jump forward, I'm going to ask you a quick question. I'm going to put you on the spot. You talked about this theme manager. Can you give me an example of where an organization might have multiple themes and where that may come into play in the real world?
Yeah, and I think the easiest example in my mind is with large enterprises with a lot of different departments globally, or even within the nation. We find that there's different branding and styles per like department or business line or line of business rather. Um, things from colors to typography, to even, you know, uh, even design backgrounds, right? So using images as backgrounds, right? There's things that each department has aligned to brand. And so enabling these themes really allows for that single template to incorporate all those use cases simply.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you. Well, before we jump into the ScreenDetective demo, we're going to run through a couple poll questions. So we'll pull those up on the screen. The first is, what is the most painful part of a screen going dark? Go ahead and click on your answer, and let's see what each of you come up with. I should note, as the responses come in, so really the first two features Max showed us, the Canva Integration and Launchpad, are really focused on content generation, content curation, both done within the CMS, but also done via third-party tools. ScreenDetective is really focused on managing your deployment, your fleet of media players, whether it's large or small. So really excited to kind of dig into that here. So, all right, so let's go ahead and end the poll. And I see that interesting dispersion here. So 50%, half of you said negative brand experience for customers and visitors. Makes sense. It's embarrassing, things along those lines. About 19% said not reaching your audience is the most painful part. And then 31% is just the time spent troubleshooting. And we're going to talk a little bit about, that time savings here. That's great. Thank you. We have one more poll question.
It actually looks like that was part of a series, Travis. So it
Oh,
looks like it was actually already answered. Yeah.
I need to scroll down. That is on me. There you go. How long does it take your team to even notice that a screen is down, right? Just under half of you at 42% say, I don't know. Maybe it varies. But then we have minutes came in at 12%, hours 27, days 12, even longer than days at 8. So if I think about hours, days, or even longer, definitely a negative brand experience, embarrassing, spending a lot of time troubleshooting. So just kind of think about that as we walk through the value prop here for ScreenDetective. So I'll pull that off the screen. Go ahead and click close. All right, Max, I'll let you dive in here.
Great. Super excited to showcase this one. Looking back about a month from now, we launched this at InfoComm just before we attended there, I think June 17th. I was really excited to showcase this in production, get a lot of great feedback. So super happy to show it here. Like Travis said, throw in questions in the Q&A if you have them. As he mentioned, it kind of preluded with those poll questions, right? ScreenDetective was brought to really do three things at a high level, right? It's detect blank or frozen screens. It's to notify your users, your admins, your IT and AV admins when that is occurring, and to proactively recover if you opt in to automatic recovery. So this full workflow and lifecycle really helps reduce downtime, reduce site visits, reduce truck rolls, and cost not only from like a dollar perspective, but time, resources spent. It sounds like a lot of you saying time spent time spent troubleshooting and negative brand experience, right? Those are costs as well, right? So this is helping to eliminate those. So I'll jump into the product here, and what you're seeing is an update to our dashboard, our landing page. So with this feature comes some small tweaks to the dashboard. You get to see some high-level metrics on devices with issues, peak alert time, urgent actions, current open issues, and device issue trends. So over a timeline. So notice here, as I interact with the page, I can filter this to go all the way back 30 days or a month. And I can see kind of the lifespan here of issues that occur. And then again, issues and peak alert time. In order to set up how ScreenDetective works across your device portfolio, we have a policy management page to enable this. So at a high level, you can enable auto recovery, you can enable your notifications, and you can enable your windows in which this runs. When these steps occur for auto recovery, right now we have 2 steps. So we'll first attempt to restart. So this is like an app refresh. This isn't a full system power down and power on, as it means as a lightweight troubleshoot step. And then the second step is a full system reboot. You can enable notifications along all paths there and auto log capture. Second, who gets alerted when these issues first occur, when they go through the steps, and when they become resolved. And then scheduling windows, like I said, when it runs, you can say 24/7 or set hours. This is restricted. So great. Now that this is set up, I can have the system continually monitor screenshots, validate through successive screenshots if this is an issue or not, and if so, report those issues at this at-a-glance screen. So what you're seeing here is a per-device record of all the issues that have occurred. Again, two issue types, blank display and frozen. Let's go ahead and jump into one of these to show what it looks like. So I have here a device running a test scenario for blank content. So you'll notice the type was blank display, the status is now resolved. And this page is mainly to show you a couple things. First of all, a visual representation of what Korbyt detected and how we confirm resolution. So as you can see here at 12:01, today it looks like, 12:01, we detected some blank screens. And again, blank could be black, white, blue, any solid color. We confirm that through successive screenshots a few minutes later. And then at 12:06, we attempted a recovery action. We confirmed that recovered the issue and took a successive screenshot to then confirm that issue was resolved. And so you see here in the textual review, we showed the auto recoveries in progress. We went through recovery confirming, and we decided shortly after that this device had been auto recovered. So that's a best scenario case. Sometimes that may not always happen. And to show you kind of how this life cycle works, there's a nice tooltip here that shows you the different substates for each issue detected. So for an active issue, right, we're going to have it in awaiting recovery, so waiting for those steps. Recovery could be in progress. Recovery could be confirming. So we attempted the recovery, now we're confirming via screenshots. And then kind of the bad case is recovery failed. You know what? Maybe for some reason this couldn't recover for a couple of reasons. So we can put it in that state, notify you, which then allows you to troubleshoot further. For the resolution states, there's auto recovered. So our auto recovery steps help recover the system. Manually recovered. So you can actually jump in and interrupt a recovery if you'd like, do your own reboots, do your own clear cache. So the system would notice that you did that user action and then confirm via 2 consecutive clean screenshots if that succeeded. There's also the status of self-resolved. And this is important because in a recovery failed scenario or in just kind of a stagnant scenario where maybe you don't have auto recovery turned on, the system may resolve itself. Maybe you schedule new content. Maybe you reboot it yourself, right? The system will continually monitor screenshots once it's in a recovery failed state or others. And if it notices it has a new screenshot, it'll go ahead and self-resolve that for you so you don't have to. And then last but not least, you can change the resolve state if you feel like our state wasn't accurate or you want to try to help inform other users, hey, you know what? This is actually manually recovered. It wasn't done by the system. Or actually, you know what? This is a false positive. I'm intending to have the screen there, right? So a blank screen is as I intended. So therefore, this isn't really a resolved state. This is a false positive. Or other unknown. There may be some unknown reason, right? You want to mark this this issue. In addition to that, you can take notes for others when they come in to come back and see basically anything that happened if you felt there's relative information for that. We, coming soon, so in phase 2, what we're actively working on now is custom detection types. So we're super excited. A lot of great work behind the scenes going on right now to offer ways to detect things more like branding misalignments or specific pieces of content that should no longer be showing. You can prompt the system to look for specific things such as system trays, menus, colors, old logos, etc. And it'll give you the same alerts and notifications as you would with the blank and frozen. Last thing to mention too that's coming soon is player group policies. Right now it's global, but coming soon will be player group policies. So you can set these at a per group level, how those notifications and recovery steps happen. Meaning you can turn auto recovery for a certain segment of players and auto recovery off for others. You know, maybe there's reasons why you don't want auto recovery happening and reboots happening during the day. And within those player groups, you can also exclude players from specific detection types. So for instance, maybe I want to detect on blank displays but not frozen because I'm actually showing cafeteria menus. Those are going to be stagnant all day. So I only want to get detected when there's a blank screen. Player support for this is wide. Any player that supports screenshots is supported by ScreenDetective, which is really great. So we're just doing screenshot detection, nothing at the player level right now. So this means BrightSign, Windows, SoC players, most Android players, our Virgo player, you name it. And there's going to be more support as we get more devices, right, supported on the Korbyt ecosystem. Uh, we have started early access for this. So beta customers, early access customers have already gotten their hands on it. A lot of great positive feedback. Our general availability will be in a short week here on August 1st. So feel free to reach out, if you want to get a demo or your hands on it.
Thank you, Max. Really exciting stuff here, and this is really yet another example of corporate doubling down rather on device management. I was showing this to a client a couple of weeks ago, and they said something that just really stuck with me, and that is, they thought a ScreenDetective is really bringing on almost a pseudo IT or AV employee onto their team that just works 24/7, 365 in the cloud, right? And I thought that was a really powerful and good use case in terms of how to think about ScreenDetective. When we go back to those poll questions and we talk about, negative brand perception, embarrassment, and then downtime lasting for minutes, hours, or even the unknown, which is even worse. This really combats all those. This brings that down to a mere matter of seconds. And really excited about this. To Max's point, this is a paid add-on, but backed by a very clear ROI, right? The ROI here is quite compelling. To Max's point, feel free to leverage the QR code there to take advantage of our special offer. And that being, if you book a demo by August 1st, you're going to gain access to a free month of ScreenDetective. The demo does not have to happen by August 1st. It just needs to be booked. So I want to make that clear. We're very flexible on time. But in summary, really proud of the work done on the Canva integration, Launchpad, and ScreenDetective. So let's spend a couple minutes here on question and answer. Number one, Max, I'll just kind of read these out loud. Is the Canva feature available for on-prem systems?
Really great question. And I'll cover that actually for all three features because it is a bit mixed. Right now, Canva is not supported for on-premise. Well, I think it could be certainly on the roadmap, but not currently. Potentially some challenges there connecting from a cloud to local system, but happy to look into that. Launchpad will be available on premise. ScreenDetective right now is only cloud and hybrid, not on-prem, but that is on the longer term roadmap.
Perfect. Thanks, Max. Next question is really asking for maybe a slightly deeper technical discussion on how ScreenDetective works so they can share it with their IT department. Do you mind going maybe one level down? That'd be great. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and it's a question that's come up multiple times, so it totally makes sense on why, right? Customers are starting to ask this. I'll start with first a shameless plug of our product knowledge base tool, product.korbyt.com. This is where we're going to provide all this information on how to use it, as well as some of this more technical details. This technical doc is not available yet, but it will be very soon. But technically, how ScreenDetective works is through screenshot monitoring. So the same system you're using with Korbyt today to get screenshots to the CMS, that same system is looking at the screenshot and basically saying, is this a blank screen? Which is simply just, is there pixel variation within this image? It's very simple. And then for frozen screen is, does this look like my last screenshot? So if those two scenarios kind of equal true to even a small degree, we're going to fire off an additional screenshot, actually two additional screenshots to confirm that same issue is existing. So it's very simple. There's no AI, there's no third-party systems, there's no training of your images or information to do this. It is a local to Korbyt image kind of processing tool.
That makes sense. The next question submitted by Nate is a bit tangential and related, right? So the question here is, do we have plans, or does Korbyt have plans to detect whether the display itself is on or off Really with the point being, it's one thing to kind of scan the image in the cloud, but how do I tell if the screen or the panel is even on or off? Can you talk a little bit about
Yeah.
our plans there?
Yeah, it's a great question. When we were demoing this at InfoComm, this was probably the primary item of feedback we got, right? Is this is great from a content perspective, but how do I incorporate what is actually happening at the screen? So, short answer, yes, we do have plans. And I talked about our near-term plans with custom detection. Following that is going to be analytics and a more dashboards and metrics to show. With that is going to be this more device telemetry information coming to the system to provide similar notifications. So display on and off is one. Brightness set by a threshold. You set volume, HDMI input, you know, active signals, et cetera, like you're saying for power on and off. So short answer, yes. Using that information over HDMI or even RS-232 to trigger those results. And try to help recover as well. So if we have integrations with that screen manufacturer, or we have those commands to communicate back to it, we can issue recovery actions such as power on, switch to HDMI 1, put brightness back to 80%, put volume down to mute, right? So uh, definitely, things I think not only you but other customers are looking for, and we're definitely having that on our medium to long term roadmap.
Thanks, Max. Two more questions, and I'll go ahead and take this one. The question is, are there any future plans for Korbyt to be included in the FedRAMP environment, right? And great question. Appreciate it. It's interesting and good timing. This is something we're evaluating and discussing. Having done this in my past, in my career, this is a commitment and a sizable investment, and we're really just kind of weighing that out. Want to make sure that we can fully back anything that we take on. So it's under evaluation, and probably will be for probably the next quarter or two. But keep your eyes peeled, ears peeled for more to come on FedRAMP. One last question, Max. And this is another good one from Mike. If the image on the screen related to ScreenDetective is intentionally still, how does the system know that it's intentional versus maybe not?
It's a really good question. And, right now with phase one, you have to kind of manually either say like exclude this player from blank screen or frozen screen. But coming soon will be like a smart exclusion rule. It basically looks at what is this player scheduled. In Korbyt speak, we call those instructions. So what are these devices' instructions? If it's instructions say to play one image and it's blank, right? We can use that to basically determine, right, if that's intended or not. I hear a lot of use cases around why that could be intended. I said, like cafeteria menu screens or live data screens. Another one I heard is like with a retail scenario, after hours, you want to put blank images up because you don't want to trigger the security cameras or those sensors. So we have customers doing that, right? We definitely don't want to be alerting and auto rebooting players right when it's intended. So definitely part of the plans is to do that smart exclusion again based off of what is scheduled via playlists.
Okay, thank you, Max. We're just about at time. As a quick reminder, feel free to follow up with us to get that demo scheduled by August 1st and take advantage of that promotion. That can be done via that QR code. In addition, you can reach out to your account manager or customer success manager. We are here to help, right? That is why we're here. And to further the concept around, Korbyt really, focusing on listening to the features our clients want, please join us at product.korbyt.com. You can use that to submit ideas and features. You can get a look at our roadmap, our knowledge base. It's a really powerful tool. So product.korbyt.com. We thank you for joining us, taking the time out of your busy day to consume this information. Have a great one. Talk soon.